Tonight, Bill Clinton trying to clarify what he said this morning about his affair with Monica Lewinsky when he said he hadn't apologized to her ever and didn't think he needed to. Here's what the former president just said moments ago.
The truth is, the hubbub was I got hot under the collar because of the way the questions were asked. And I think what was lost are the 2 points that I made that are important to me. The suggestion was that I'd never apologized for what caused all the trouble for me 20 years ago. So first point is, I did. I meant it then and I meant it now. I apologize to my family, to Monica Lewinsky and her family, and to the American people before a panel of ministers in the White House, which was widely reported. So I did that. I meant it then, and I mean it today. I live with it all the time. The second is that I support the Me Too movement, and I think it's long overdue. And I have always tried to support it in the decisions and policies that I've advanced.
Out front now, Keith Boykin, a former Clinton White House aide and Democratic strategist, and Rob Astorino, former Republican candidate for governor of New York and friend of the president's for more than 15 years. All right, so that's what he just said right now. You heard what he said. I apologize to my family, to Monica Lewinsky and her family, and to the American people before a panel's minister in the White House, which was widely reported, talking about his public apology. Now, let me play you the exchange this morning.
Well, I asked if you'd ever apologized, and you said you had.
I have.
You've apologized to her.
I apologize to everybody in the world.
You didn't apologize to her.
I have not talked to her.
Do you feel like you owe her an apology?
No, I do. I do not. I have never talked to her, but I did say publicly on more than one occasion that I was sorry. That's very different. The apology was public.
It is very different, Keith.
He said it did say on more than one occasion that I'm sorry.
He said publicly I said it, but he never spoke to her directly.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what he means by this, and I quite frankly, am not involved directly, but I think that it wouldn't hurt to apologize. It's not a hard thing to do. This happened 20 years ago. He would be forgiven if he apologized and moved on. It was a consensual adult relationship. But I think he needs to learn to use a little more discretion when he talks about these things. This is something that he had to expect was going to come up, certainly. And, I reminded someone earlier today that there's a couple examples that Bill Clinton's words actually hurt Democrats in 2000 when Al Gore ran because of the Monica Lewinsky thing. In 2008, when he mentioned that Jesse Jackson had gotten the same number of votes that Barack Obama did, had hurt Hillary Clinton in her race. And in 2016, when he stepped on the airplane with Loretta Lynch. I mean, he's done three things that have hurt three Democratic presidential candidates. And you would think that the guy who's so smart politically would know when not to say certain things.
Yet he was clearly angry. Yeah. And you're making the point, adult consensual relationship, but times have changed. Now you're talking about someone who is, 21 years old. He was president of the United States. The world has changed in how people see that.
In the middle of the Me Too
Yes,
movement.
she was an adult, but can you really call that consensual when you're talking about an intern in the White House? Now this would be held to a completely different standard.
Oh, yeah, and you did have sex with that woman, and you never apologized. And you know what? He owes her an apology. He owes her an apology then, and he owes her an apology now. And for him to sit there and say, I did make an apology publicly, come on. I mean, that wouldn't even be acceptable today, and it should not have been acceptable then. And, his book is The President is Missing. That's the title of his book. What's missing is empathy, honor, an apology. Those are what's missing.
Well, he also went on to say, so not only did he, try to say, well, I didn't apologize to her, but I didn't need to because I apologized to everybody, including her publicly. He said he suffered too. Let me play that.
Nobody believes that I got out of that for free. I left the White House $16 million in debt. But you typically have ignored gaping facts in describing this, and I bet you don't even know them. This was litigated 20 years ago. 2/3 of the American people sided with me.
Sounds like Trump.
Yeah, and what would the standard be against Trump right now?
Well, the
and by the way,
Well, the standard
Clintons-
is voters don't care, and he might get reelected just like
that's what
Bill
Clinton
Clinton
said.
was.
Yeah, that's what Clinton said.
The problem is that Bill Clinton is not the president of the United States. He was the president 20 years ago when this Monica Lewinsky thing happened.
Which is
and
worse.
Unfortunately, it's not worse. What's worse is that we have a president today who has 16 different women who have accused him of sexual misconduct. And he's never apologized for any of those, Rob. That's far worse, by the way, than Bill Clinton's failure to say something he should have said today in an interview about his conduct 20 years ago. We have a president today in 2018 who is still not apologized for his sexual misconduct for 16 different women.
First of all, most of them are alleged. The one that and he's not admitting it, but Stormy Daniels said it was consensual.
He said he was going to sue all of them after he was elected. He didn't sue any of them. You know why? Because they weren't lying. Just like Stormy Daniels wasn't lying.
But wait, Exhibit A of why Trump got elected, for people who are saying, I can't believe he got elected, Exhibit A is Bill Clinton and Exhibit B is Hillary Clinton. People were fed up with them and their shenanigans, and they said, let's just go with this guy. That's exactly what it was.
How is it they're fed up with Bill Clinton for something that he did 20 years ago, but they're not
You
fed
just-
up
you
with
went
Donald
through a
Trump,
lot. With a double
Donald Trump
standard
for what
about
he's
it.
doing right now?
You just went through the laundry list of why he hurt Hillary. And then Hillary, remember, Hillary slammed the 4 women who accused her husband. Slammed them. To this day has never said anything
near
an apology.
I just want to
sorry.
okay. I just want to jump in here because of the breaking news. You just heard Mark Short say, he didn't know who disinvited whom. The Philadelphia Eagles are unable to come to the White House with their full team to be celebrated tomorrow. It's how the White House statement goes. It appears to imply very clearly the president didn't want them there, but doesn't come out and say he disinvited. Rob, what happened here? He makes a whole point about they wouldn't. The whole issue is about not wanting to stand up for the national anthem.
I think, look, a lot of teams that were invited when President Obama or Bush, they were personal players who didn't agree with their politics, but they showed up. Once Trump got elected, every team that won the championship, there was division, whether they would show up, not going to show up. I think, first of all, I think they should not have been disinvited.
Are you blaming the players?
They should not have been disinvited. They should have. The invitation should have remained.
Are you blaming the players?
I'm not blaming the players. I'm saying, but the players have taken stands of not
but
going
you're saying that if the
to the
president
office of the
disinvited, that was the wrong
presidency
thing to do.
to
He should have
accept on
kept the
behalf
invitation.
of all. Yeah.
Donald Trump is
They
the
could
most
come or not
divisive
come.
president we've seen in my lifetime. Today he's out there on Twitter saying he can pardon himself. He's disinviting the NFL Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles from coming to the White House. The Super Bowl
They were
is
saying they weren't
supposed to be
gonna come.
something that unites us.
Yeah,
but the people who wanted to come, he still is disinviting them from coming. This is characteristic of a man who thinks he is an autocrat, a king, a dictator. He's acting that way today. He said Giuliani's saying he could shoot somebody and he cannot get indicted for that, and the president still thinks he can pardon himself for his
You had teams in the
crimes?
past, like the Golden State Warriors or the Patriots. Other teams, the players would say, I'm not going to go because I don't believe in his politics or I don't like him, so they don't show up, and they made it an issue.
Because Donald Trump is out there.
But
You
I'm
forget
saying,
the chicken and egg question. Donald Trump was
Robert,
out there
you're saying
telling
that's-
people that they
I'm
should
saying
not.
that's okay,
He was
right? That's their
condemning
right.
black
It's their
NFL
right.
players
But
before
they
they even said anything. He
you
was
think-
out there condemning African American athletes, telling them they did not have the free speech to stand up for what they believed against police brutality.
Do you think when President Obama was in the Oval Office that every NFL champion or NBA champion or NHL champion or MLB champion agreed 100% with him? No, but
And
they
when did
showed
President
up.
Obama ever disinvite people? When did President Obama ever go on an attack? When did President Obama ever attack NFL athletes or NHL athletes or MLB athletes and tell them that they were not American because they were exercising their free speech?
No,
President Obama never did that. Donald Trump is doing that. That makes him divisive. He's dividing us even about something that's supposed to bring us together, football. He's dividing us about sports. This man lives to divide our country.
Final point.
Look,
'cause
I
he had the
think
first.
they should have been invited, and they should have gone, and there should not be a disinvitation.
Tell that to
but
Donald
they
Trump.
both made it bad. It's not just the president; it's the players in the past who
president
have said
is the
we're not going
one
because
who's
we don't like you.
responsible.
Okay.
Bad people on both sides.
Yes.
Donald Trump. It's
that
not
the
both
argument?
sides, not Charlottesville.
All right. Thank you.